August 14th, 2023. It's embarrassing to admit, even to myself, but I've been coasting. For years, really. Not in a dramatic falling apart kind of way. More like a slow, steady erosion. I've always been good at appearing competent, at meeting expectations, at being the reliable one. It's a defense mechanism, I suppose, a way to avoid the messy, uncomfortable work of actually being good. I've traded genuine effort for the illusion of it. And now, I think, it's finally caught up to me. The project with Sterling Cooper Draper Price, the rebranding campaign for Patagonia, it's gone. Not just delayed, not just needing revisions. Gone. They sent an email this morning, polite, professional, but utterly final. Due to a shift in strategic direction, the boilerplate read. I know it wasn't about their strategy, it was about my work, about the lack of spark, the lack of originality, the lack of anything that felt truly mine. I argued, of course. Called Sarah, my direct supervisor, tried to salvage something. She was gentle, almost apologetic. "Liam," she said, her voice tight, "the feedback was consistent. It felt derivative, like you were assembling pieces rather than creating something new." Ouch. That one stung. Derivative. It's the professional equivalent of being called boring. I spent the afternoon staring at the Bloomberg terminal, watching the market fluctuate, feeling utterly disconnected. The Dow was up, tech was surging, and I was... what? A failure? That's too strong, I tell myself. A setback. A temporary blip. But the truth is, I've been feeling this for months. A low-grade anxiety, a constant sense of being slightly behind, slightly inadequate. I've been pushing it down, bearing it under late nights and endless cups of coffee, convincing myself that it was just the pressure of the industry. I remember telling myself, back in college, that I'd never become one of those people who just churned out the same predictable thing year after year. I wanted to be a creator, an innovator. But somewhere along the way, I got comfortable. I learned the formulas, the shortcuts, the ways to get by without actually pushing myself. I started prioritizing efficiency over excellence, appearances over authenticity. Last week, I was at a conference in San Francisco. The Moscone Center was packed, buzzing with the usual tech hype. I was there for a panel on future-proofing your brand. It was all buzzwords and platitudes, but one speaker, a woman named Anya Sharma from a small ethical fashion startup, said something that stuck with me. She was talking about sustainability, but it resonated on a deeper level. "Everything you give comes back in form," she said. "Nothing vanishes. Every thought sets a weight. Every word cuts a groove. Every deed plants a seed that keeps looking for your doorstep. Call it fate if you want, but it's just consequence." I dismissed it at the time, filed it away as another inspirational soundbite. But now, looking back, it feels like a brutal, accurate assessment of my life. All those shortcuts, all those compromises, all those times I chose the easy path. They've all accumulated, creating this inertia, this feeling of being trapped by my own choices. I've been avoiding my apartment. It's a mess, a physical manifestation of the chaos in my head. Dishes piled in the sink, laundry overflowing, books stacked precariously on every surface. I ordered takeout for dinner again tonight, pad see ew from that place on Bleecker. It's convenient, but it's also another symptom of my laziness, my unwillingness to invest in anything beyond the immediate. September 5th, 2023. I started therapy. It feels ridiculous admitting that. I've always been fiercely independent, resistant to the idea of needing help. But Sarah, bless her, practically insisted. She said she'd be happy to recommend someone, and I realized I had nothing to lose. Dr. Klein is direct. No fluffy platitudes, no gentle encouragement, just a series of pointed questions and uncomfortable silences, pushing me to examine my patterns, to identify the root causes of my behavior. It's painful, dredging up all those insecurities and self-deceptions, circling back to the same question. What are you afraid of, Liam? I don't have a good answer. Failure, I guess. But also, success. the responsibility that comes with it, the pressure to maintain a certain standard. It's easier to stay in the middle, to be comfortably mediocre. I've also started running again. I used to be a pretty serious runner in college, but I let it slide when I started working long hours. The idea of forcing myself to get up before dawn and pound the pavement felt overwhelming. But Dr. Klein suggested it as a way to build discipline, to create a sense of accomplishment outside of work. The first few runs were brutal. I was winded after a few blocks, my muscles ached, and I felt like giving up, but I kept at it. Slowly, gradually, I started to feel better, stronger, more grounded. September 28th, 2023. I've been reading Seneca's Letters from a Stoic. It's surprisingly relevant to my current situation. The emphasis on virtue, on accepting what you cannot control, on focusing on what you can, your own thoughts and actions, it's calming. Seneca writes about the importance of living in accordance with nature, of recognizing that everything is impermanent. It's a reminder that setbacks are inevitable, that failure is not the opposite of success, but a necessary part of it. I've also been trying to be more mindful of my words and actions. Dr. Klein suggested keeping a journal, not just to record my thoughts and feelings, but to actively reflect on my behavior. It's been surprisingly illuminating. I've noticed how often I default to defensiveness, how easily I dismiss criticism, how quick I am to make excuses. I'm also trying to be more present in my relationships. I've been neglecting my friends, my family. I've been so focused on my own problems that I've forgotten to nurture the connections that matter most. I called my mom last night. We talked for an hour. It was good. October 15th, 2023. I've started taking on smaller, less prestigious projects at work. Things that allow me to experiment, to take risks, to push myself creatively. I'm working with a local nonprofit, designing their website. It's not glamorous, but it's meaningful, and it's giving me a chance to rediscover the joy of creating something from scratch. I'm also collaborating with a junior designer, a young woman named Chloe. She's incredibly talented, full of fresh ideas. I'm learning a lot from her, not just about design, but about perspective. She's not afraid to challenge the status quo, to question assumptions. I've noticed a shift in my energy levels. I'm sleeping better, eating healthier, exercising more consistently. I'm still anxious, of course. The fear of failure hasn't completely disappeared, but it's no longer paralyzing. It's manageable. November 8th, 2023. I presented the nonprofit website design to their board yesterday. They loved it. They said it was exactly what they were looking for, clean, modern, and user-friendly. It wasn't a groundbreaking achievement, but it was mine. I poured my heart and soul into it, and it showed. Sarah stopped me in the hallway afterward. "Liam," she said, "that was really good. You were engaged, passionate. It's been a while since I've seen you like that." It felt validating, not in a triumphant, "I've conquered the world" kind of way, but in a quiet, steady, "I'm on the right track" kind of way. I still think about Anya Sharma's words. Everything you give comes back in form. I'm starting to understand what she meant. It's not about some mystical law of karma. It's about the simple truth that our actions have consequences, that the effort we put in, the choices we make, they shape who we are and the world around us. I'm not sure where I'm going or what the future holds, but I'm no longer coasting. I'm actively engaged in the process of becoming, and that, I realize, is all that really matters. The seeds I plant now, I hope, will blossom into something worthwhile, something that reflects the person I'm striving to be.